fucking city. Arguably one of the best cities in the world, and more famously known as the city that never sleeps and where your dreams can become a reality. But that begs the question, what if the reason that I can't sleep at night is because I don't know what my dream is at all? I lead a small life. Well, valuable but small, and sometimes I wonder, do I do it because I like it or because I haven't been brave? That's a line from one of my all-time favorite movies, You've Got Mail. And that line has been living in my head a lot lately. You see, for a long time, I lived a small life. I spent years in this very house, working from home, building routines that felt safe and predictable when everything else wasn't. And I told myself it was enough, but eventually, without ever realizing, that wasn't the case. I'd convinced myself that I was being brave by leaving when I really was just running away. And there's something I've kept with me for most of my life. It's these two little toy planes, one American Airlines, the other British Airways, and they've been sitting on my desk since I was 7 years old. I don't even remember where I got them, but for some reason they've always stayed put. Through every phase of my life, those tiny planes never moved. When I was a kid, I didn't think much of it. They were just kind of there. But now looking back, I can't help but wonder if it was a sign. Little pieces of my future sitting right in front of me, sprawled across my desk, that I just never ever paid attention to. So, years later, I unexpectedly packed up my life and boarded a real plane, British Airways, and I moved to London on a whim. You see, I'd always dreamed of what it would be like to live somewhere new, to step into a bigger life, to see the world differently, to start over. And for a while, I did. Living in London changed me. It made me braver. It made me see that I'm capable of more than I ever thought possible, and that sometimes the best friendships come from the most unexpected places. But it also taught me something much harder. It taught me that sometimes the biggest heartbreak isn't from losing someone else, it's from losing yourself. I've always loved too big, too fast, and I felt like I had to convince people to love me back. I've poured my heart into people, into places, into burdens that weren't always mine to carry. And somewhere along the way, I started shrinking myself to fit other people's needs, their wants, their dreams, their stories. And it's so easy to lose yourself when you love too big, when you give so much of yourself away that you're left with nothing for you, when all you become to them is a clickable thumbnail, the breadwinner, the landlord with an unruly tenant, the girl so colorblind that she diluted every red flag, and despite it all, the fool who stayed too long until there was nothing left of her to give. And so coming back here, back to my childhood home, it forced me to face the fact that I've allowed myself to become small. I've allowed my kindness to be weaponized against me. But life has a funny way of shifting. It will come and teach you your hardest life lesson, and just when you thought you had it all figured out, then life will come to remind you otherwise. And with that, I'm back. Back in this house, back in my childhood bedroom, back in New York. And those little planes, they're still here too. I thought I'd outgrown this version of my life. I thought I knew where I was headed, but now I feel like I'm right back at square one. The same room, the same walls my dad's yells would echo off of, the same question in my mind, what now? The hardest part isn't just feeling lost, it's feeling lost after you've thought you've found yourself. And the truth is, even after all of those experiences, I'm still searching for more. I thought moving abroad would solve that restlessness inside me, and it did for a while. But now I'm realizing something. Growth doesn't stop when you leave home, and it doesn't stop when you come back either. Coming back here doesn't mean I've failed. It doesn't mean I've lost everything I've learned in London. It just means I'm at a new beginning, and maybe beginnings look different than what we expect. I'm starting to understand that chasing dreams isn't a straight path. It's full of twists and turns, steps forward and steps back. And that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask yourself, what's next? I've been thinking a lot about those little planes and how they've sat there all of those years quietly waiting for my return, and without ever even realizing it, that I ended up following the exact path they represented. So the truth is, I don't know what my next dream is yet. I don't have a perfect plan, but I do know this. I've done it before. I've chased something that scared me and it changed my life. And I can do it again. So maybe this time it's not about knowing exactly where I'm going. It's about trusting that the next dream will reveal itself along the way, just like those little planes did all those years ago. Square one isn't a step back, it's just the start of something new. So let's choose to be brave, and we'll figure out the rest on the way.
Oh, Puds. Puds, we did it! Puds, we did it! Oh my god, we can get on to the fun stuff now, Puds! Enough of the mushy stuff. I love you. I love you.
Lights will guide